Hello everyone. This video is on class 9, chapter 1, the story of village Palampur of economics. Let's start. The story of village Palampur. Palampur is in this lesson is a hypothetical village. Hypothetical village is unrealistic village. This village Palampur does not exist. It is an imaginary village. This unreal village is used in this lesson to learn the basic concept of production. That is how to produce. We will relate everything to village Palampur. In this village, let us see how the various resources combine to produce the desired goods and services. Transportation in Palampur was well connected with neighboring villages and towns. That is, it was connected with Raiganj and Shahpur. So, we can say that the transportation of village Palampur was good because of the infrastructure. The road was good, which was connecting to Raiganj and Shahpur. This village has 450 families belonging to several different castes. The 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. 80 upper caste families are there. Out of 450, 80 are upper caste families and own majority of the land in the village. SCs or Dalits comprises 1/3 of the population. Of out of 450, 1/3 are SCs or Dalits and lived in the corner of the village. They did not occupy much space but a corner of the village and in much smaller houses compared to the houses of upper caste families. So Dalits were 1/3 of the population out of 450 and their houses were smaller compared to that of the upper caste families. There were availability of electricity, 2 primary schools and high school, a primary health center and dispensaries also. Palampur is the ideal example of rural background which has all basic amenities. So it had electricity, it had school, it had health centers, it had dispensaries along with 450 upper caste, 450 population, 80 upper caste, 1/3 SC/STs and smaller house as well as the bigger house. So how was Palampur? We know it now. Whatever we study in this chapter, that is regarding the production, it is in reference to Palampur. Topics that we are going to discuss in this chapter. Factors of production. So what are the factors of production we are going to discuss in reference to Palampur. Then farming in Palampur. Distribution of land between the farmers. Who will provide the laborers? From where capital will come? Here capital is nothing but money. Sale of surplus from products. Then non-farming activities in Palampur. So all these we are going to discuss in these videos and these will be connected to Palampur village. Organization of factors of production. The first subtopic is factors of production or organization of production. There are 4 requirements for the production of goods and services. Whenever you need to start producing goods and services, there are basically 4 requirements. They are land, labor, physical capital, human capital. Okay, under physical capital again fixed capital, working capital. So let's see what is the land. Land is always fixed, that we know, along with other natural resources such as forest, water and minerals makes up the land as factor of production. So for whatever reason, whether even if we need to stand on ground, we need land. So land is the basic requirement of production. The first factor will be land. Without land, there cannot be any building, there cannot be any production, there cannot be construction, no buildings. So land is basic factor of production. Then comes the labor. Laborers are the people who work on the land for production. Okay, laborers are the people who work on the land for production. That is, these laborers who people who are skilled, unskilled, educated, uneducated, depending on the nature of the work, are laborers. Skilled in the sense you will be expert in something. That is, if for example, I feel I am good at teaching, so I teach. So any other person who is unable to teach cannot adapt the teaching faculty. Cannot adapt teaching profession. So skilled. Unskilled means what? If I am a teacher, I cannot do a computer work. For example, I cannot go in IT companies and start working, right? My skill is teaching. So here, unskilled work other than teaching, what can I do? I can go and sit as a receptionist or pick up the bricks in a building. That is unskilled. You don't need any degree to pick up bricks in a building or sit in a hotel and count the bill. You don't need any skill over there. So that is unskilled. Then educated and uneducated. That is, educated laborers are also there. Uneducated laborers are also there. So then comes physical capital. Physical capital is basically the investment or the money. It is the variety of inputs. Investment in the sense inputs required at every stage during production. That is physical capital. Once if we start producing something for production, we need some inputs. Those inputs are called as physical capital. There are two types of inputs or two types of physical capital: fixed capital, working capital. Fixed capital are tools, machines and buildings. That is, which are fixed, which cannot be taken away, which cannot be carried away anywhere else. So there can be tools, machines and buildings which are fixed. They are fixed capital, fixed investment. Once if you build a building, you cannot move it somewhere else. Once if you bring a big machine and fix it over a place, you cannot move them. So that is fixed capital. Then working capitals are raw materials and money in hand. Working capital means the capital or the inputs which finishes at a particular time. For example, in a school building is a fixed capital. Working capital are chalk piece, papers are all working capital. Teachers are laborers. Okay, and your school ground, the ground where you assemble, is the land. Got the point? Then comes human capital. What is human capital? Human capital is the knowledge and enterprises required by human being for production. Okay, so here knowledge in the sense a businessman or an entrepreneur only can start a particular production. For example, if I need a chalk piece, the person who has the knowledge of producing chalk piece or how the chalk pieces are produced, if a person has the knowledge of business, how it is possible to make that business famous, then only it is successful. So human capital is also required. So factors of production are 4: land, labor, physical capital, under that fixed, working capital, then human capital. Farming in Palampur. So factors of production we have seen. Let's see the farming, how it was in Palampur. Limitation of land as a resource is that land is fixed. So what is the limitation of a land? It is fixed. It cannot be expanded or it cannot be stretched. farming is the main production activity in Palampur. Okay, in Palampur, farming is important, main activity or main occupation. Though land is a fixed resource and Palampur has a profitable farming. Though it is fixed resource, it is small. So we saw how it is 450 families, 80 upper caste, along with what all agricultural land it was. So Palampur has a profitable farming. How it is possible? So Palampur has adopted these things to make it successful. What are these? During the rainy season, that is Kharif crop. During rainy season, there is Kharif crop. Farmers grow jawar, bajra. These plants are used as cattle feed also. So during they grow Kharif crop. It is followed by cultivation of potato between October and December, which is Rabi crop. In this winter season, fields are sown with wheat, barley, peas and mustard. Okay, so they grew Kharif crop along with Rabi crop also. A part of land area is also devoted to sugarcane. See, along with these crops which are grown in a particular season, they have left a part of land area to sugarcane also. It is in its raw form. When sugarcane is harvested, either in the raw form or jaggery, it is sold to trades in Shahpur. Shahpur, which has been connected to Palampur as the transportation or the roadway, is very good with Palampur. So ways to increase the production. So they have adopted Kharif crop, Rabi crop along with sugarcane. So there are other ways to increase the production also. What are they? That is, they have adopted multiple cropping, mixed cropping, irrigation is good, electricity is good. Palampur has all these things. So what is multiple cropping? Multiple cropping means to grow more than one crop on a piece of land during a year. That is, you are not growing one on the other. That is, after sowing one crop, they will harvest, and then the next time they are going to harvest, sow another crop. That is, after Kharif, they are going to sow Rabi. So that is multiple cropping. Means to grow more than one crop on a piece of land during 1 year. Then they have adopted mixed cropping. That is sugarcane along with Kharif and Rabi crop. Mixed farming is a system of sowing 2 or 3 crops together on the same land, one being the main crop and the other the subsidiaries. That is how Palampur has sown potato along with wheat and sugarcane. So that is mixed crop. Okay, so then irrigation. So hope so this is clear. Multiple crop means growing more than one crop in a piece of land during 1 year. Mixed crop means sowing 2 or 3 crops together on the same land, one being the main crop and the other subsidiary. Here in Palampur, main crop was sugarcane and others were subsidiary. Then irrigation also. If there is well, tube wells, ponds, canals, which helps to grow crops like Rabi, then Zaid, then other crops. That is, Rabi is grown in October and December. They are wheat, barley, mustard. Zaid season March to June. Watermelon, muskmelon, bitter gourd, etc. So they grow these all well because of irrigation. Then there is electricity also in Palampur. It transforms the irrigation system. That is, when irrigation facility was electrified, farming Palampur got boosted. Electrified farming. So that is when they got facilities of electricity, farming in Palampur got boosted. So then there is one more, modern farming. This modern farming, this method is to increase the yield from the given piece of land through HYV. So we saw multiple cropping, mixed cropping, irrigation, electricity, and now modern farming. So this method is to increase the yield from the given piece of land through HYV seeds, that is high yield variety of seeds, and also using modern machines like tractors and threshers. Using of HYV seeds and modern technology is called Green Revolution. In late 1960, farmers in Punjab, Haryana and West UP used HYV seeds, irrigation, chemical fertilizers and pesticides to increase the yield. So, Punjab and Haryana, they used HYV seeds along with irrigation, chemical fertilizer, pesticides to increase the yield. So there was negative impact of this green revolution also. What are these? Scientific reports indicate that the modern farming method have overused the natural resource. They have overused the natural resources. How? Because of tube wells, they have the underground level of water is been decreasing, and also due to the maximum use of fertilizer, the fertility of the land is decreasing. It is associated with the loss of soil fertility. What? Use of this green revolution, use of HYV seeds and fertilizers. Loss of soil fertility due to increase of chemical fertilizers, which takes long period of year to retain fertility. So once the fertility of a soil is gone, it takes long time to get the fertility. So next video will be on land distribution. Please like, share and subscribe.